Welcome back, parents. We are almost at the finish line of the quest. Do you believe that? You've been doing so much great work. I'm so proud of you. You're about to take all that you've learned out into the real world. How exciting, how adventurous of you to embark on this new learning. I am truly humbled by your courage. So in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you another transformative skill. It's all about moving away from control and into deeper connection. You know, when we understand that the main mandate of conscious parenting is out of control into connection. No more control, more connection. When we realize that that is the invitation, that is our portal of growth. If you accept the calling, if you answer the call, you will be able to more greatly step into your own consciousness and your own state of deep connectivity with your children. You know, when we understand our why are we learning conscious parenting, then we become clear on the how. It's the case with everything in life. When we fully embrace our why, and in this case, it's the why of conscious parenting, why is it so powerful, why is it so essential, and when we understand its true relevance, that's when we begin to truly change in our connectivity. And then if resistances show up, or if upheavals show up, or if it's too difficult, we stick with the why. You see, we marry the why. I always tell conscious parents, you got to marry the why, because if you don't marry the why, then you're going to get detoured by the how. So this transformative skill sounds easy, connect with your children. But we now know how inordinately hard it is to connect. It's almost as if your kid is standing before you and you intellectually know you should connect, but then there are a million barriers between you and your child. And now, because of this quest, you can be more clear as to what those barriers are. Now we know, now we've become conscious that those barriers between you and your child have to do with your past, have to do with your cultural, archetypal upbringing, have to do with your parents' control over you or lack of control, your parents' ability to honor and validate you. This is why, even though you love your child so much, you just can't connect. You know, I still remember after moments of conflict with my own kid, feeling so frustrated, knowing that, darn it, I love my kid. Why can't I connect with my kid? You know, it's a frustration that every parent experiences. We know we love them, that's for sure. It's undeniable. It's an unequivocal fact of life that we love our children. You know, every parent loves their kid deeply. Even that parent who's been arrested on their 10th drug charge and is thrown into jail, that parent doesn't not love their kid. They're just up against their own shortcomings as an adult. So I began to experience this in my own body, in my own psyche, that, wow, I'm limited. There's something that is blocking my capacity to connect with my kid. And that's why I embarked on this entire journey. And I would put my kid to sleep at night. And as we put our children to sleep, you know what I'm talking about, suddenly they emerge into angels. You know, as they drift into slumber, the raging, crazy monster that they just were suddenly disappears. And in that place is this sweet, angelic, innocent being. And all the guilt then of all our bad behavior all through the day surges in our consciousness, and we feel so sorry for everything we did. And then, as we pat our child, this angel, to sleep, we promise ourselves, you know, tomorrow I am going to be the best parent I can be. I am not going to be my mother. I am not going to lose my control. I am going to connect with my child. We do this at night and we make a pledge of declaration and a promise. And then the next morning, we're good till they wake up. And then within moments of their waking up, there we go again. We lost that pledge. We just lost control. This is why it's so important to do this quest, to do it many times, because our desire is to connect, but there are things in the way. Only consciousness can evaporate those things, those inner psychic mishaps that live within us, that unless we become aware of and heal will simply keep impinging on our capacity to connect with our children. You know, connection with our children doesn't just come about because we have a good intention to connect. Connection is energetic. It is vibrational. It is almost non-verbal. And all true connection, listen to this carefully, all true connection emerges from one place only, our connection to ourselves. If we are disconnected from ourselves, if we are divorced from ourselves, if we are completely clueless about who it is we are, then all those broken pieces of our own selves, all those missing pieces will be picked up by our children. They will sense that we are full of these big gaping holes. They won't sense our wholeness with a W. They will sense our holes, H-O-L-E-S's. And that's what they will absorb, and that's what they will manifest in their own lives. So connection is a learned, cultivated skill that comes about after we have evolved into a deep connection with ourselves. And mindfulness, consciousness, is the way for you to get there. So as we begin to understand how important it is for our children to be connected to themselves as well, we realize that it's not so much that we need to tell them what to do anymore. It's really that we need to evoke their own sense of inner connectivity. And a great way to do that is to ask questions. We ask more, we stay in a state of open-minded, open-hearted curiosity rather than entering the state of dictatorship where we tell them what to do. So for today's task, I'm going to challenge you to shed that control again, leave it on the side, and enter the state of open-hearted, open-minded inquiry. I want you to be curious about your children. I don't want you to step into the misguided belief that you already know the right way or you know how things should be. Today, I want you to really practice being open, being curious, asking questions, inviting your children to tell you how they need it to be. And just this difference in energy from controller to curious inviter changes the connection between you and your children. So can you practice that today? Write about what comes up for you as you release that control and as you open yourself up to being curious toward your children. Ask why. Be curious about what the child is truly experiencing. Let them tell you how things should be. So write about it, journal about it, share, and I will see you back here tomorrow.